Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Saturday Night Rabbit Hole, November 23, 24. And just wanted to say good evening. I have with me, my guest tonight is Canuck, and we are going to talk about part Trois, the Eastern Sierra Fault Zones, part Trois. And we're going to finish off with the Mendocino fracture zone up in the west part of the Northern California. So this will conclude California. The next visit we have will be all of the volcanoes beginning down in Mexico, working their way up through California, and will enter Oregon in December, and will complete Oregon fault zones and earthquakes and the like. Not many there, but there's several volcanoes that we'll visit all the way up as we run up the Cascades. And then probably in the new year, we'll be into Washington, hopefully in time for Professor Nick to resume, and we'll hope all that, right? We're hoping for his wife to be better. If you don't know, his wife went into emergency surgery about a week ago now, and he paused until further notice, at least 3 weeks. Um, any and all teachings out of there at um, Central Washington University, and everybody has been praying for him. So if you have the mind to pray or the heart to pray, please pray for Liz Zentner. She's we don't know anything. There's been no updates, so I pray she's fine and recovering well. But we are praying for her and for the family to have peace and hope, and which means expectation, and all that. Do you have anything you want to open up with there, Canuck?
No, we can get right into it, I guess.
All right, let's go show on screen. I want to share this little tidbit with you. Hi, I'm Joe of the Joe Slick Live Show. My interactive live show is on twitch.tv/Joe Slick Live. Monday through Friday, 7 to 9 a.m. Mountain Standard Time, and occasionally in the evenings at 7. During the live show, I review and talk about reports from government, private, and other reporting agencies and websites regarding celestial and terrestrial phenomena. Topics will include solar flares, sunspots, geomagnetic storms, and near-Earth asteroids and comets that are being monitored around the world. Included in the report is current events in the last 12 to 24 hours here on Earth, consisting of volcanic, seismic, and weather events. I close the morning report off with what's happening in the local and world news. Thank you, and you can be a part of the morning report by going to twitch.tv/Joe Slick Live. Look forward to seeing you there, and remember, don't get none on you. And you can subscribe, hit the like button, hit the bell button, get notified, and you can please subscribe and log in and all that stuff over here on Twitch and on Rumble and on YouTube, and watch our many videos that we've been putting together for you. A lot of great content, geologic wise and geomagnetic storms. I said geomagnetic storms or whatever I said on there. Just be aware that sometimes you slip up, and it's always a slip. It stands out like a sore thumb to me. But anyway, we're out there trying to do best we can and bring you the most current information, plus talking about generalized to give you an overview and a deeper view into what's going on here in the world. So thank you for entertaining us or considering us, and let's get further on it. So tonight we're going to talk about the Sierra Nevadas, part Trois, and we're going to talk into Mendocino. So let's get right into it. Starting up, let me get that. What do you call it? That let me share the one article first. Share this one, and then also I want to share the faults of California to help us, the ArcGIS. So bear with me here. Wait, what happened? There it is. God bless America. I lost it for a minute. And let me add a screen here. Screen. Fault map. There we go. Fault map. All right. Sharing this one. Making sure that you all can see it. Share on screen. All right. So let's go review. Last time we talked about the three main faults up here, the Bartlett Springs, the Macamba, and San Andreas. Then we moved over here. We talked about the faults right up here next to Lake Orville, and the earthquakes have been happening up that way and how they're related to the other side. We didn't really talk about the Chico monocline, but we did talk about this fault up here, the Battle Creek Fault, and real brief, and how it goes all the way out here to the mountains out here. We talked a little bit about what was it? Did we? Yeah, I think we did. We talked about a fissure, and that's proven now that goes halfway into the supervolcano of Long Valley. Yeah. So don't forget, listen to the
Creek Fault. It's called.
What's that called? Hilton Creek Fault. Yeah, and pretty interesting on how they deciphered that new technology today. They're looking at the VLF. It's a very low frequency magnetic signature. And get this, they had one person here, one person there, and they had another person down in Australia. And all of them confirmed what they thought, that the Hilton Creek Fault splits into halfway into the caldera of the Long Valley supervolcano. And today we're going to be going on, we're going to talk about the White Mountains. Yeah, the White Mountains.
Yeah, that's what we left off with.
Now, the White Mountains are right along here, which are, if you haven't noticed, if you don't know, on one side, the Sierra Nevadas, the White Mountains are also in California, and they border California and Nevada, and they're very, very tall mountains. 14,249 feet tall, right? And in between the two, Sierra Nevadas on one side, and where Mount Whitney is here at 14,482, right? Pretty damn tall, and almost the same height, right? So it's 200 feet difference from the mountain here, the Mount Whitney, and then you have the White Mountains, right? Huge mountains. And the mountain range is super tall, one of the tallest mountains areas. And there's this valley that goes right down the middle. Guess what it's called? Owens Valley. Oh, yeah. And you got these huge mountains on either side. And interesting, this valley is really, we've talked about it several times. Talk about the fault zone that goes right through it, Owens Valley Fault Zone. And we're going to talk about the continuation north of it in the White Mountains here. So we have the White Mountains Fault Zone. Don't know what it's, Montgomery section. White Mountains Fault.
What we're going to do is just go to the map that's on the third page of it.
Okay, bud.
Because that's what we're going to do to explain it, because it has all the other faults on it.
All right. So it's basically there's a 1986 quake on there. So there's one section here, another section down here, and then it's a splay off of the Owens Valley Fault, tell you the truth, I think. And then there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sections of it. Then it goes into the Benton Valley Fault and moves over. And on this map we have here, Nevada stuff is not listed, right? So just know that this all stuff continues. And the current document that we're going to be talking about here, let me download it. Okay, download the PDF. And then I'll just open it so that you can see it here. Share this instead. Here we go. And we're going to look right down in here. As you can see, is this the document that you want to see there, Bud?
Yeah, and page 3 has the map
Page
on it.
3. Okay. So in this fault, or in this, let me see if I can zoom in here for you. All right. So you can see the Sierra Nevada, right? And the slippage of 10.6 millimeters a year. And there's the Walker Lane, right? The eastern shear zone right down here, which is south of Garlock Fault, right? And then we often talked about this down here as a San Andreas Fault zone. It's right here. The coastal ranges up here, new technology, new ideas. I think if I'm correct, show that the coastal ranges are actually part of the San Andreas Fault zone system, and that they're created primarily by what? Thrust faults, where one gets pushed up on another. And then the Sierra Nevadas, of course, which are 120 to 180 million years old. And then
what I like about this map too is the cascades. See how they run right into the end of the Sierra Nevadas. So that's interesting too.
Right down in there, and Lassen is down here. Then there's a little part right here. There's a little funky little share this tab. There's this funky little mountain just north of Sacramento, right here. Sutter Butts. Sutter Butts is, they believe that's the bottom of the Cascade region, or the Cascade volcanoes. So looking at this, you'll see all the way, here's Redding down here, so it goes all the way down here. Lassen's off to the right. Shasta's in the middle, and Black Buttes to the left of that. There's all this Mendocino National Forest, and Lassen National Forest, and Plums National Forest. Plumas, right? Plumas, get that? Plumas, right? Yeah. Plumes of what? Yeah. It's all volcanic. Everybody.
Fire there a couple of years ago.
Right. And Klamath is all up in here. So this whole region is extremely volcanic. That's the next story. We're not going to go there today, but we're going to continue doing what we do. Just want to give you kind of a gist of the area we're talking about. And then, crap, Ole.
So I want you to go to the next map in that study.
Okay, in that study. Okay, buddy. Okay, we're going to go right into here. There we go. Is that this is the very next one here. The mean of deflections at the north. We talked about the mean of deflection many times. And it kind of deflects from what we understand.
Yeah, from the Monte Cristo quake in 2021. It comes across from there to the other side and runs into Owens Valley Fault and White Mountain Fault Zone, because now they found out they're all connected.
They're all connected. I'm going to do a little search for you on this catalog and custom. I'm going to do it.
And it's going to be important for what we do next.
Right. So
see how these are all connected.
Right. Let me go ahead and get you custom, get you knowledge of what's been happening from Carson City down to Vegas in this region. Use this and then search. All right. So it's doing a search of 4 points and above. Then I'll share it with you. All right. And I'm sharing with you now. This is the terrain. Right down here is the Monte Cristo Candelaria Hills. A lot of times a few years ago, they were talking about Tonopah a lot. They were talking about Walker Walker Lake and Hawthorne a lot. They were calling these quakes up here, all of those names. And then there's a little town up here, Colville, and right here's a little town called Walker, right there. And these quakes, they were talking about it being named, what was it?
Markleyville.
Right, Markleyville. And it really gave us here's Markleyville. And it's computer generated, I believe. So Markleyville, there's a lot of these names here, but all the quakes were happening here. And this is only 4 and above. So if I were to put it, higher, you would see substantially a lot more in this area. I'm just trying to hurry it up. So please bear with me. Custom, I'm going to put, again, 21. Because I think it's kind of critical to see from a person. Oh, what the hell? Draw a rectangle on the map. All right. Here we go. From Carson City down to Vegas.
5 and above or whatever.
Yeah, I just did 2.5. It doesn't matter because it'll post it all. All right. So go to terrain, close. Actually, what happened?
Or it might be too many for it to show.
24? Oh, I did only 24. That's what happened.
Oh.
All right, so bear with me. One more time. Okay. Oh, okay, that's why. I'm doing from 21. Search. All right, terrain, close. So we want to talk about this too. So share this tab. All right, this is from 2021 onward till current time frame. You can see that we had a swarm of earthquakes down here in Lone Pine, and we had a swarm up here by Mammoth Lakes and Tom and Bishop. Was it? I'm not Uncle Tom's Cabin. Mammoth Lakes and I forget. Tom's Place. That's what it's called. Then we had these quakes sitting right out here, which is what we're going to talk about, the series of quakes. The Monte Cristo range here, Candelaria Hills right here, okay? It's interesting how all of a sudden it comes up, makes a right-hand turn. Yeah. Then there's still some quakes out here up past Warm Springs, a smattering of stuff going up towards near Fallon. And then here's that other system that was pumping in 2022. Yeah, in this Antelope Valley quakes. Okay, so we're going to talk about these 3 areas, and this one we've already covered. This is a Ridgecrest and the Coso Range of volcanics down here, and what was that little town? Not Highway, but Little Lakes, and up here there was a little town, Olancha. Okay. So a lot of times it's named Olancha, but this is the Coso Range right down in here. We had a few quakes up here in Death Valley. These are pretty recent, happening right up in here. And but we're not going to talk about that tonight. But we're trying to show you that the Eastern Sierra Nevadas are critical in understanding how the whole system is working. And I mean, but the greater system at large in regards to our studies. And you have to listen to all of them. I'm not going to go into too much depth, but you'll pick up on it because we'll tell you about it in just a minute. So back to our there we go. Our share this tab instead. Back to our little thing here. Here's the mean of deflection. The Candelaria Hills are right up on the top there, and Owens Valley down here, and the White Mountain Fault Zone right through here. And then off to the left is the big volcano. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So what we're going to do, we've already talked about Monte Cristo quake before and like other, not episodes of this yet, but we've talked about it in previous rabbit holes. So we're going to jump to the Antelope Valley quake. So that's what we're going to do next.
Okay.
So should be the next one in the links.
Oh, in the links that you sent me. All right. Da, 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 da. I wanted to bring people up to speed, so bear with me when I do something like that. California Articles, is that what it was? Or ResearchGate?
This one it's got Earthquake Clearinghouse at the start of it.
All right. There's only like 3 or 4 links, so Lake Tahoe.
It should be right after the next one after the map one we just looked at.
All right. Just got to make sure I pull up the right article for us. No, that's Lake Tahoe. Let's keep coming
and up. It's from Nevada Earthquake Clearinghouse, Antelope Valley Earthquake.
Oh, okay. Antelope Valley Earthquake. I got it. Yeah, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more deals here.
Yeah.
All right. So
we're just gonna read that because it shows where it is. So
all right.
It's a little map.
I'll share this tab instead. Once it comes together, all right. Summary. This little region right down here, this is what we're talking about. It is the Antelope Valley earthquakes. That's that little town called Walker. And it was called Markleyville in all these earthquakes. It's definitely not Markleyville. But this is how they explain it. A magnitude 6 earthquake happened about 33 kilometers southeast of Markleyville in Antelope Valley near the town of Walker and near the range of the front fault in the area. Shaking was widely felt in the Reno-Carson corridor and as far as San Francisco, U.S. Highway 395 was temporarily closed due to rock slides. The Nevada Bureau of Mines Geology quickly mobilized field teams after the main shock to collect observations for the event. Additional information will be updated when it happens.
Yeah.
All right.
So that's the short summary of it. But they basically found out that it was on the Antelope Valley Fault Zone. And the specific fault is called the Slinkard Valley Fault.
Okay.
And they've studied it since then, and it's been a very long time, they think, since it's had a 6.
Really?
Yeah. So this is like an unusual place. They weren't expecting it to. They didn't think that fault could make a 6.
Yeah, we have here's another article that talks about it here. Share this. Slinkard Valley Fault here. Let me see if I can get view the publication. Read full text. Simplify complex fault data for system analysis 2023. It's the latest. And all right.
Yeah, I think they say it's like a normal fault because it's more north-south, but it reverberated towards the edge of the Sierras, the eastern.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Sierra. Because that valley is like made where the Basin and Range runs into the Sierra Nevadas, basically. That's how they explain it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was trying to get this this article, but it's not doing what I wanted it to do.
Yeah. And you're going to see, like what we're doing tonight, the swarms at Lake Tahoe and the swarms at Lake Almanor are basically the same thing. It's a normal fault of the Basin and Range, and then the eastern Sierra faults on the western side of the lakes. Because where these lakes are and these valleys are right on the edge, like same with Owens Valley and White Mountains Fault Zone and all that, they're on the edge between the Basin and Range and the Sierras. And that's where all this crazy stuff is happening. So that's what I'm trying to show, going all the way up. So that's what we're going to do. So we're going to look up.
Right. On January 8th, 2021, a magnitude 6 normal fault earthquake rocked the community of Walker and the surrounding region near California-Nevada border. In the 1990s, a field survey of the nearby Mendocino Cliff Canyon identified numerous precarious rocks deemed likely to topple on the vent of a strong shaking. Despite their proximity to the 21 earthquake, the precarious rocks still remain standing in this work. We combine, okay? There's some rocks out there. They didn't move, but this was a strong enough quake. So they're like, what? And this is a related argument or a related article. Hey, Niner, how are you, bud? Maybe quick sound. I don't get a new subscriber. I think 5-string groovy. I don't know. Oh, Niner resubscribed. Hey, Niner, you're all right, brother. You're one of my brothers for sure. It's good to see it too. I'm trying to just get something real quick to get you a little more into that area, Topaz Lake. Yeah, that might be a good article here too. Let me see if I can get it full text available. Download the full text. Save, and is this one too? Is that it? Usually across Sierra Nevada, Carson, France, and Antelope Valley, Reno, Nevada. Range. Yeah, they've been doing a lot of study down over here. So, ResearchGate has it. So here's another article on that area. Go ahead.
The Topaz Lake story is pretty interesting, but I don't want to get into it right now because it didn't used to be here. It's a recent lake, like very recent.
Yeah,
like the early 1900s, I think. Before that, it was farmland. There's a bunch of farmers there, and they dammed it up or irrigated or something and made a gigantic lake.
Yeah, the valleys in Northwest Basin, approximately blah, blah, blah. Normal faulting has produced an abrupt range in triangular facets and formed scarps in the young alluvium head fans. North of Highway 395, State Route 89 junction. Surface expression of the fault is disturbed by highway and local submerged by Topaz Lake. The abrupt and over-steepened range front west of Holbrook Junction suggests that the fault system may discontinuously extend to the northwest another 7 kilometers. Topaz Lake is right where that darn thing happened, just north of it, actually. I'm interested in how that fault is there, and there are several articles you can find. Here's another one I'm putting out there for you if you're interested. But go ahead, continue with what you're doing as I'm doing my own research too.
Yeah, so we're going to jump to the 2021 earthquake list and then figure out where this
all right, brother. From. Let me get there. Yeah, what we're doing is we're trying to find the etymology of where that earthquake took place, right?
Yeah.
2021. Let me find that. Hey, I don't have that one. Oh, 2021. Here we go. All right, push this back over here. Share this tab instead. All right, so in 2021, what's the date on that one?
Look back to see when was it?
It was a 6. Well, Alaska had a 6. Yeah, Alaska had a 6. Argentina had a 6. Argentina had a 6.4.
It should show up on the list in there when we get to it. But I
didn't. Yeah, I'm hoping it does. The West Chile Rise popped with a 6.7. There's Greece. Oh my gosh. I don't know what it is about Greece sticking its nose in it where it don't belong. We're into March. Colombia had a 5.1. There's Greece again, had a 6.3. And Greece again at a 5.8. Oh my gosh. Peru 5.9. Sandwich Islands came in with a 6. Guerrero, Mexico 5.7. Greece again 4. Now we're into what, April? Yeah, I don't see anything in April. May. What I'm doing here is 6 in El Salvador. What I'm doing here is I'm looking on the eastern side of the Pacific plate to see if there's any indication of what's been going on that side of the plate to make the Coulomb stress rise to the surface and go north or south for that matter. Peru had a 5.5. Panama had a 6.
Yeah, so it's July 8th because I looked back to see.
Okay.
What day it was on.
Alaska had a 6.1. And now we're into June. Argentina had a 4.8. Peru had a 5.9. Argentina 4.6. So what we're seeing is mid 4s up to low 6s. And July, we had Chile with a 6. California, Smith Valley, that's the 6 that we're talking about there. Nevada, it's Antelope Valley, but they call it Smith Valley, which is right together. I think in one state it's Smith. I think in Nevada it's Smith, and in California it's Antelope. So they do funny stuff like that. And right afterward, Panama came in with a 6. And I think that's when I really started seeing how Panama rocks Texas. Back in 21, I was watching how the seismograms would display, because when that 6 happened in California, we saw a lot of things going on, and we saw from Central America, and Peru had a 4.9. But
and remember, this Antelope Valley one was just before the big quake in Alaska.
Yeah, Alaska pops in at an 8.2. That's our last 8, everybody. Here we are in 24. This is 2021. 21. Our last 8 was in Chignik, Alaska, near kind of the, I don't think it's by the, it's Perryville, 105 kilometers south of Perryville. And it's along the Alaska Peninsula. Rat Islands are east of it. And Peru came in with a 6.2 after that. So interesting how Panama is binging, right? 6.7 and a 6.1.
And for the super advanced class, this is actually Texas liniment.
Yeah.
Which is another thing.
Peru, Argentina, and it's the Walker Lane as well. Because Texas goes over to the Caribbean, Eastern Caribbean. Alaska had a 6.1. I'm going before it now, so what led up to it? Salvador popped with a 6. So several 6s went up the coast, and then Alaska popped with a huge 8.2.
Yeah.
Not a lot of.
Whoa. We also had a big swarm of Tahoe that same year too, 2021.
Right.
Which is going to tie into what we do next.
Right. So see, and Guerrero had a 5.7, which is the western side of central Mexico. Yeah. See, there weren't a whole lot of things going on. Colombia had a small one. So a lot of 6s. Greece was really popping. I wonder if Greece, you know how there's that, well, we'll just let it go. It's for the advanced class.
See, the year before this was the Monte Cristo quake.
Yeah. In 20. Alaska had a 7.8 in July 22. The year before that, 8.2. Okay, everybody. Oaxaca had a 7.4. The Kurils had a 7.5. Offshore Alaska had a 7.6, right? Greece had a 7, right? And yeah, the Kurils had another 7. So it starts off in January of 2020. Oaxaca pots with a 5.9. Puerto Rico does a 5.8. Puerto Rico comes in with a 6.4 that same month. Russia 6.4, but Puerto Rico 5.2, Puerto Rico 5.9. Remember, this is when Puerto Rico was going really powerful, and it's still been quaking, but it's not these 6s and 5s, but a lot of damage, and scary stuff was happening. Mendocino had Mendoza, Argentina, had a 4.5. Mexico, Oaxaca 5.2. All this is in January. Kansas, there's their central thing. I bet you there's somewhere there's going to come in with an Atlantic quake in here. Kansas popping with a 4.5. Sandwich Islands had a 6.1 in January. Alaska 6.2. Alaska 6.1. The Cayman Islands 6.1 and a 7.7. That's the Caribbean quake in 2020. Interesting how that popped, and then the next year we get the 8.2, right?
Yeah.
Pretty crazy. February.
Yeah. Texas limit.
Yep. Sandwich, it is right on the Texas limit too. So Sandwich Islands had a 6. The Kurils had a 7. Yeah. Okay. Now we're into March of 2020. Indian Ridge had a 6. Baja California 5.5. Central looks like. Escutian, Coahuila. Utah 5.7. Again, Kansas, Utah, center part of the United States. Something is pushing it. Remember what happened already? The Caribbean pushing north. There's Greece in there, 5.7. Idaho, Stanley, Idaho, 6.5. Do you see? Kansas. And what was the other one? Utah, Idaho, going north by northeast, right towards it too. God bless America. Colombia had a 5.7. Honduras had a 6.1. Greenland, 4.6. That's unusual. May, Puerto Rico, 5.4. There's Crete. Yeah. Right here, Nevada, the Mina, Nevada. Our earthquake sequence we're talking about in Mina, Nevada is part of this huge push that emanated out of the Caribbean plate pushing northeast. Now the southern portion is moving a little bit, 6.5, Mina, Nevada. And Baja California following along, 6.1, which is south of that. Peru, even 6.1. In June, Chile had a 6.8. Peru had a 4.5. Iceland, 6.0. Oaxaca, 7.4. Remember, 7.7 kicked this one off, right? Kicked off 4 major quakes in the U.S. Yeah, 4 is not a major, but it's strong quake for Kansas. And then Lone Pine, California pops again, 5.8. Do you see it moving west, northwest? Yeah. Crazy, right? So Mina popped, Lone Pine popped right there in Owens Valley. Baja California popped. Mexico popped. And it continues. Puerto Rico, 5.3. It went the other way too, everybody. Chile, 5.9. Alaska, Perryville, 7.8. Huge quake. That was the 8.2. 6.1 right after Sandpoint, right? The Sandwich Islands popped with a 6.4. Sandpoint 6.1. Puerto Rico 4.8. North Carolina 5.1. Do you see? If we need quakes up in North America, you got to have something from somewhere else that presses it. And we got a huge quake. Where? Barbados, right? Or was that Barbados, I think?
Cayman.
Yeah, Cayman Islands. Yeah.
And Puerto Rico was that.
And Puerto Rico. Costa Rica popped with a 6. Brazil had a 4.6. Central Mid-Atlantic Ridge, 6.5. I was looking for it. It hit. When I see the Mid-Atlantic, I'm looking in the greater parts of the United States to see what is responding. Now, it went the other way too, right? So it's a river, so to speak, of what electromagnetic energy. Chile 6.8, 6.3, 6.5, 6.3, 6.2. Russia's Kamchatka 6.4. South El Monte, Los Angeles 4.5. South of Africa way down in the south had a 6.1. And now we're in October. Hunga Tonga Happy Eye. Oblast. Sandpoint 7.6. Alaska. Greece is in there at a 7. North Aegean.
Yeah, because Sandpoint had 2 7s before it had the 8.2.
Get this. Massachusetts 3.6. All of North America moved after that 7.7. And Alaska banging hard. Chile 6.0. Chile 6.1. Argentina 5.8. Argentina 6.3. Offshore Aleutian Islands 6.4. Greece 4.5. Antarctica, Bellini Islands below. No, that's just, isn't it Bellini off at? Yeah, that's off Australia, right?
Yeah.
Right underneath Australia. Chile 6.1. Chile 6.0. Peru 5.6. Peru 5.7. Chile 6.7. And then we go into 21. And that's where our quakes and all that stuff happened. So Haiti popped with a 7.2. Do you remember that? Guerrero popped. Mexico Guerrero popped with 7.0. Peru popped with a 7.5. Right? And also Alaska 8.2. Crazy. Sandwich Islands had an 8. New Zealand had an 8. Peru had a 7.5. Sandwich Islands had a 7.5. I'm only looking at the big ones, not going at 7.2 and at Haiti. Sandwich Islands 7.1. Guerrero 7.0. That's all in 21. And so, there's
a lot going on for that quake to happen.
Right. So if you see Alaska popping really hard with 7s, you can bet something bigger is going to happen, because they're leading up to something. And if you see the Caribbean plate go really hard, get your floaties. Crazy, right?
Yep. So now we're going to jump to Lake Tahoe, which is just a little bit north of where the Antelope Valley quake happened. So we're going to do that next.
Okay. All right.
We're going to do the one that says about the Lake Tahoe active faults, landslides, and tsunamis. One.
All right. Okay. The ResearchGate one?
Yeah. Oh, well, it's no Pub's Geoscience World, it says.
All right. Hold on. I got the Sacramento Bee on that.
Yeah, that's not yet.
Okay, Lake Tahoe active faults and landslide tsunamis. Okay, I got you.
Yeah, because this is going to set it up for what we want to do.
All right. Share this tab instead. The abstract reads, the Lake Tahoe Basin lies within one of the most active parts of the Sierra Nevada Great Basin boundary zone. The new geologic mapping and new geophysical data show that numerous active faults and landslides occur within the Lake Tahoe Basin. Active faults define a northeast-southwest trending zone, the North Tahoe Incline Village Fault Zone, a north-south trending zone, the West Tahoe Dollar Point Fault Zone, and the northwest trending zone, the Tahoe Sierra Frontal Fault Zone. These zones include faults on land and under the lake bottom, where the scarps are well preserved. Other faults in many other areas around the basin may be active, but are presently insufficient to characterize most of them. October 30, 1998, a magnitude 4.9 earthquake occurred near North Tahoe Incline Village Fault Zone, and other historic quakes may have occurred along both fault zones as well. Active faults are spatially associated with landslides along the sides and the bottom of the lake, suggesting that at least some of the landslides have been triggered by large earthquakes. Evidence also exists for sutures or seiches, or tsunamis that may have been generated by past earthquakes and landslides. Currently available data indicate that Lake Tahoe lies within a tectonically active asymmetric half-graben. Large magnitude 7 earthquakes can be expected along active faults in the basin in the future, and emergency planning scenarios should include provisions for strong ground shaking, landslides, and tsunamis. In addition, research should be both on land and in the water, and they are underway to quantify the seismic hazard within the basin.
Yeah. And so the next link is the map that shows the faults that are in Lake Tahoe that they know about so far.
All right. All right, it's not that one.
Said I had to verify I was a human.
You had to verify you were human, eh?
Yeah, that's what it said. I can see it.
Okay, I've got it. Yeah. Share this tab instead. There you go. Here's the northern Tahoe, right? Here's the incline, the Sand Harbors fault, Slaughterhouse Canyon fault off to the right. On the left, we got Dollar Part PT fault and West Tahoe fault right down here. All of this is underwater. Agat Bay fault, right?
Yeah.
And you can see it's only 15 so miles across. Tahoe Sierra Frontal Fault Zone goes to the left or to the ocean side of Lake Tahoe.
Yeah. And the last two major swarms we've had have been like in the center of Tahoe Lake. The center of Lake Tahoe, both in 2021 and I think the other one was 2023. But 2021 was the same year that we just looked up. So I thought that was interesting when I looked up the swarms.
Right.
They happened that same year that all that other crazy stuff was going on. And the fault way over here on the left side, the Tahoe Sierra Frontal one, that's the fault that if you track it all the way down, it runs right into Owens Valley because it's the edge of the Sierras. So see, this is why this all this stuff is important? Because where
Yeah, it's
these
a 60,000-year record extension across the western boundary of the Basin Range province. Estimate slip rates from offsets, shoreline terraces, and catastrophic slides beneath Tahoe. There's an article here
oh yeah, there's all sorts of them.
that you
We
can
get we get way
get.
bogged down because they've
Yeah,
studied
yeah.
every one of these faults, and they say that they can all
Yes.
make sevens and cause a tsunami in Tahoe.
So I just shared that with those in
So
chat.
basically, every one that's in the water there, plus also the one on the side, Tahoe Sierra Frontal Fault Zone, can also make sevens and cause there to be a tsunami to go from one side of Tahoe to the other. And they said sometimes, based upon how it is, if it would go across and bounce back.
The quake or the ocean, I mean the lake. Yeah, the tsunami would bounce all over. Hell yeah.
Yeah. So.
And you can see the different faults in the image you have on your screen now, all over the place.
Yeah. And now in the latest ones where the swarms are, they kind of are below where the North Tahoe Fault is. They're below that, kind of in the center of the lake, but they haven't connected an actual fault down to where it's had the swarms the last couple of times yet. If you read all the stuff on it, but they assume it's probably on the North Tahoe Fault, like if it extends down farther. Because if you look at all the swarms recently, it's been kind of in the center of the lake. So it's pretty interesting stuff.
Yeah, and plenty of tsunamis to tell us that, yeah. Yeah.
No, I guess the article I put in there, I guess the latest swarm was just this year. Because it says swarm of quakes rumbles beneath Lake Tahoe in California, seismologists say. So I just picked like the latest swarm that happened there.
Yeah, in swarm of quakes rumbles beneath. Share this tab instead. Beneath Tahoe, seismologist says swarm of at least 24 earthquakes reaching 3.4 magnitude struck beneath Lake Tahoe. Other quakes range from 0.1 to 3.0, according to USGS. Hours-long quakes. Tremor began around 8 a.m. on July 20th. More followed, the most recent striking at Sunday, July 21. 4 Mile Deep, 3.4 magnitude quake hit at 8:02 p.m. Saturday on the USGS. Okay, yeah, magnitude measures energy release now. It replaced the old Richter scale, just so everybody knows. So they're saying that these, I would estimate that because if it's saying quakes between 2.5 and 5.4 magnitude often felt but rare cause damage, because according to the new way of thinking, they like say the Richter scale would call it probably a 6.2, but it's 5.4, or even a 5.8. It's 5.4 now. So it's the way it's a new way of they articulate earthquakes now, that it's energy expelled. So it tells you what to do if there's an earthquake. So and Tahoe, where we're at Tahoe, right in here. So what we talked about, here's the West Tahoe Fault. Here's the line, the major fault line in here, right? The frontal zone, and then there's splays off in the north here, and this is the Dollar Point Fault, which we talked about, and there's the West Tahoe. So these can produce up to 7. Those are huge, and it's only due because of their studies. They say, wow, man, these things are crazy. And then, as you can see, it continues to the Polaris Fault. How far up do you want to go, bud?
Well, we're going to jump to Lake Almanor next.
Lake Almanor? Okay.
Yeah, because I want to show like what they found out about that. it's very similar to Tahoe and all their lake things. So we're gonna.
Is that the shallow 5.5?
Yeah, that's the next article. Yeah.
All right. Share this tab instead. Shallow 5.5 earthquake hit Lake Almanor and Northern Cal. This thing's still happening today, everybody. So it's not like it stopped. Periodically, we're seeing a quake or two happen out here.
Because this was 2023.
Yeah. A shallow earthquake hit 5.5, 2319 UTC, May 11th, 2023. A little more than a year ago. The quake was followed by a series of aftershocks, including a 5.2 at 1018 UT on May 12th. The epicenter was located 4 kilometers or 2.5 miles east of Prattville, 4.83 miles northwest of Canyon Dam, 5.1 kilometers or 3.1 miles east of East Shore, and 28 miles west of Susanville. 5,000 people are estimated to have felt the shake, 6,000 moderate, 380,000 light. The USGS issued a green alert for shaking-related fatalities and economic losses. There's a low likelihood of casualties or damage. The overall population of the region resides in structures that are resistant to earthquake shaking though vulnerable structures exist. Predominantly vulnerable buildings types are unreinforced brick, masonry, and reinforced masonry construction.
And I think the wildfire was the year before that. So I thought that's
yeah,
everything all around it.
Yeah, and recent earthquakes in the area have secondary hazards such as landslides, liquefaction, and might have contributed to losses. This is the first series of earthquakes since 5.7 hit the shore of Lake Almanor in May of 23 of 13. So 2013, it hit. And now in 2023, 10 years later, it hit. Yeah. Almost on the same freaking day.
Yeah. So
can you believe that?
And now I have new articles that I looked up today that explain
from May 11 to May 23, almost on the dot.
Yeah. So I'm going to have to put it in there, the new one.
Okay.
That explains all the stuff that's going on there.
All right. And you can see here's the shaking, stronger shaking out here, light shaking all the way down into Thefethitco and Carson City, Reno. This quake was a normal fault in the Sierra Nevada, California survey said, adding that the aftershocks are expected, right? It looks like a spreading, so normal fault.
Yeah.
Right, here's the Almanor fault zone and a Skinner Flat fault and Butt Creek fault zone. If you got a butt, you got a crack in it, well, probably in Lake Almanor. Here's Chico, Red Bluff, and Redding on the map here. The quake initially reported as a 5.7 activated shake alert systems, blah, blah, blah. California Highway Patrol said their Chico dispatch cell phone 911s were down because of the quake. We were right in the middle of it. Mark Guillory, owner of Sierra's Fly and Tackle in Lake Almanor, told the Seattle Times, crap was falling off the walls and my truck outside was moving. Spokesman for the governor's office of emergency services said rock slide had occurred in a portion of Highway 89, adding that there are some reports of localized power outages, but no major damage. A Plumas County sheriff said that there's no reports of damage or injuries. Rock slides are not unusual in the area following the past year's fires and storms. And that was 2023, so El Nino was just starting up or going to be. USGS said there's a 4% chance for more of them. And you can see basically the bigger quakes happen here, but these other quakes going toward into a Bailey Creek golf course. And if you remember, that stuff burned down.
Yeah, I think that was the year before.
Yeah, and when it did, it caught them off guard in a huge, north of the lake, huge burn. I mean, it was massive, and it was so out of control, they had to let it go. It caught them off guard, and I don't know if
it went all the way to Susanville.
Went all the way to Susanville, yeah. So on share this tab instead.
As I was watching.
Well, here's Lake Alomar, right?
Yeah.
And I remember when that sucker burned. It burned into Susanville. So big time. And let me see if I have GE up. No, I don't. All right. Share this tab instead. So scrolling down. Right. Here's Lake Alomar. This area, I mean, is one of the largest burns in California history. All this area burned. All Lassen, the whole area just caught fire. I even think it went to this Eagle Lake over here.
Yeah, it burnt way up.
Yeah. There. And I'm not sure, but it might have been the ones that burned.
Well, it started way to the west of.
It started out here, I think, and it burned. And when it got to this area, it just like took off. And that area was pretty dry. Yeah, I don't know, but it was a massive burn. COD. Let me see if I can share this. True color 200 and come on, natural color. Come on, natural color fire. All right, so I'm gonna back it up. I was trying to see if you can see the scar. Localized sectors. All right. There is a huge storm up here, so
yeah, you may not be able to
all right.
see it because of the clouds.
You can see the burn areas right down in here, but I think our area of interest is right up in here. Yeah, unfortunately, we're probably not going to be able to see it. Yeah, I think Alomar's right here. So this whole area burned.
Yeah.
It was huge. And I think, was Tahoe going at that same time, or did Tahoe go the year after?
I can't remember if it was the year after, or maybe it was the year before too.
Okay.
It might have been both. It might have been the same year.
Might have been, yeah.
I have to look it up. Because that was the one that started down near Placerville and then came up towards Tahoe.
Right. And I think that's the same year that Baby Duck's house burned and all that. And they were down there in Placerville, and we sent, as a family here, we sent them, I still have one. They sent it back to me. A couple of filters to clean the area, or clean the
air,
clean the air for them, and they work really fantastic. So, as a family here at Joe Slick Live, we sent them those things. But yeah, the whole area burned. You can see where Susanville is here. This is the quake, and all that burned. I don't want to say it burned up into the greater Shasta area, but almost all of Lassen burned.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I remember they had to close the park because the fire was in there.
So, geologic details of Alomar Fault Zone south of Lassen Peak.
Now, this is an interview I did with a geologist from there, so he explains what's going on with it.
Okay. A pair of moderate earthquakes shook Northern California on Thursday and Friday, occurred near a region known as geologists as Alomar Fault Zone, marking the two strongest tremblers in almost a decade as part of the state where shaking is rare. Both were centered beneath Lake Alomar, Plumas County, 5.5 and a 5.2. These were the strongest areas since one of the magnitudes 5.7 jolted the east shore 10 years ago on May 23rd of 2013. which we didn't even look up that date. We should probably do that when we do what we're going to do. The epicenter Thursday's quake was about 3 miles below the surface. That actually is pretty close to the surface for earthquakes go. It is. And roughly 50 aftershocks below magnitude 3 happened. There was no immediate reports of damage. And here you can see exactly the same images that I've showed you on this one here.
Yeah, so he explains what was happening.
Right. So some damage, as you can see. California Geological Survey mapped above shows the fault near Lake Alomar area in Plumas County where magnitude 5, 5.2, May 12, blah, blah, blah. Fault moved past 1 point. Faults marked in purple moved in the past 1.6 million years ago. In purple, in purple during the past 700,000 years, and orange during the last 11,700. 11,700 is Indian Valley Fault. The purple are 1.6, and then what? Purple, they said purple twice. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, well, there's only purple and green. I think they meant green.
Yeah, the purple they think are the ones that have moved the most recent.
Yeah, purple.
But if you run it back down, because I've read a bunch of the other studies on that, and they say that the faults there that are on the edge of it run right back into the Tahoe. So the Tahoe, Sierra, and Frontal thing.
Correct. It's all part of it.
All the way right up there. If you follow them all up.
Right, which we do.
Yeah, and the Mohawk, I think Mohawk fault zone is.
Yeah, Mohawk Valley Fault. Yeah, share this tab instead. So I just pointed on, this is the Mohawk Valley Fault. This is the Indian. This is the Alomar Fault Zone, right? It happened. The two big ones happened right out here in the middle. And we've seen faults just last year. We see down here on a Crab Blouse Fault. We've seen earthquakes happen out here. And I can show you that soon enough. But, and they've called them.
And if you kept going up on that same angle, northwest, you run right into Lassen.
Yeah, then you got Hat Creek, and then whatever these ones are here.
And so I started studying Lake Almanor swarms.
Mm-hmm.
And what is interesting is Lake Almanor started swarming in 1914.
Uh-oh.
For like a year.
Uh-oh.
Which was the year before Lassen had its big
Yep, yes, sir. And also before what happened out in Nevada.
Yeah, the big Pleasant Valley quake.
Yeah, out here.
And there also was a big quake at Mendocino, too, in 1915.
1915, Well, speaking of Mendocino, we've now gone...
and that's how we're going to make the transition.
Yeah. we're going to save Lassen and Redding and all that, Shasta in all these volcanic zones for the next trip. But we're going to move all the way over to the other side. And we're going to now talk about, here's the San Andreas, here's the Macamba, here's the Bartlett Springs, right? Yeah. Cross Springs Fault, Bartlett Springs. 3 main fault systems that work where? Right up into this region here in northern Cal. And you see they can continue, but there are some crossovers that come off the Mendocino that kind of bends and turns into these 3 sections. And you can almost count 4 if you even want to do this one, the Etzel Ridge Fault, which then would go out here to the outside, or I think what we were calling those Black Butt Fault and Orita Gittle, no, Ortit Galita. Okay, Galita fault, right? Oh, crap. All right. So we talked about these and the fault systems that are like right along the edge of the Great Sacramento Valley. We talked about earthquakes on the far side. We talked about earthquakes on this side, the fault systems, and how these three main faults kind of join into this mess up here. It's funny how the San Andreas is clean, goes into a mess, gets dirty again, it goes clean, and then gets into a mess, and then goes clean again, and then it gets into a mess. And you have to kind of really look at these areas where the mess is and try to understand what the topography shows us, what's going on under the surface. Generally, we'll see coastal ranges rising up. We'll see compressional systems start happening. We'll see thrust faulting. It just won't be a simple normal fault or a strike slip fault, but we'll see complex geology that says, hey, there's some other factors here that are moving the stress along different areas and or combining that kind of stuff. So that's what we got to kind of see. You see the San Andreas kind of go out this way, they come back, go straight, then it comes out this way, and it comes back. But this is not the San Andreas up here. This is a whole different kind of system. The San Andreas, for the most part, dies right here where we're going to be talking about today. So what you got for me there, buddy? You got a link?
Yeah. So I put the link in for the Mendocino fracture zone.
Alrighty.
The wiki.
The Mendocino fracture zone. Here we go.
It's short, but it's good.
All right. I'll read it. I'm just quicker, I guess. The Mendocino fracture zone is a fracture zone and transform boundary, or 4,000 kilometers or 2,500 miles long. Starting off the coast of Cape Mendocino in the far northern California, it runs westward from the triple junction of the San Andreas Fault and the Cascadia subduction zone to the southern end of the Gorda Ridge. It continues on the west of its junction with the Gorda Ridge as an inactive remnant section which extends for several hundred miles. Technically, a fracture zone is not a transform fault, but in the case of the Mendocino, the term has been loosely applied to the active fault segment east of the Gorda Ridge, as well as to the true fracture zone segment west of it. Many seismologists refer to the active segment as the Mendocino Fault or the Mendocino Fault Zone. The fault section demarcates the boundary between the northwestern moving Pacific Plate and the eastern moving Gorda Plate. The Gorda Plate is subducting beneath North America Plate, just offshore of Cape Mendocino, where the Mendocino Fault intersects the undersea trench of the subduction zone. It also meets the San Andreas Fault. This seismically active intersection is called a triple junction, and specifically the Mendocino triple junction. In tsunami studies, energy focusing around the fracture zone have been noted, leading to increased wave heights in the area around Crescent City, California. The fracture zone is referred to as the Mendocino Escarpment. In these studies, descriptive rather than named form its geologic origin. Okay, I see. The fracture zone is referred to as the Mendocino Escarpment in these studies, descriptively rather than named from the geologic origin. Okay, so it's kind of a euphemism.
Yeah. So read the history part because this part's interesting.
All right. Robert Pease observed in 1965 that the alignment of the transverse tectonic zone extending from Mount Lassen to Walker Lane to the north end of Honey Lake Fault suggests it was once the continental terminus of the Mendocino Fault. It forms the boundary of the Modoc Plateau and Columbia Plateau provinces with the Great Basin, where it meets Honey Lake Fault and it bends northeast across the northwest corner of the Nevada, where it accompanies a geologic trough that forms Black Rock Desert. I got to know more about that. That's what I got to know.
Yeah, Honey Lake Fault is right by Susanville.
All right. So
I know because I've studied it already.
That's okay,
but I'm just like connecting the.
What it does is it really hammers home what we think a lot.
Yeah, and Mendocino, in the old stuff, they call it even a liniment because I think it goes the whole way around the world because it goes all the way across and lines up the Sagami Trough in Japan, which goes right under Tokyo.
Okay, and Honey Lake is right out here, everybody. Yeah. Honey Lake here's Alamore that we were just talking about. Here's Honey Lake out here. Yeah. So this section goes all the way over to the Mendocino right here.
And if you keep going east, it goes right through Salt Lake City.
Yeah, well, if you zoom out.
Because I'm going to show you how it's all connected with the recent quakes. It's
right.
Crazy.
Now, Salt Lake City is up a little bit north, but in the magnetic sense of the term is what he's saying. The eastern portion right here drops down. I also believe that to be the Texas liniment, and it charges right down this Honey Lake, or even this one up here, Moore Lake Fault, or the Likely Fault.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Well, to simplify flutter, faults or cracks. So when they're talking about fracture faults, whatever they want to call it this week, shear zone, whatever, it's all the same thing.
Yeah, they're all interrelated. Yeah.
And so when they're talking about it being inactive or active, it's just a question of time. Because that's what the inactive active thing is. It's all based on a time period. So they say one part is inactive, but that doesn't.
It doesn't mean it won't quake.
Yeah. Until there's a big quake on it, and then they'll say, "Oh crap, it was active."
Right.
This is how it works, and you're gonna find that when we do the next quakes, because we're gonna do the most recent one that was in that area, which was 2022, the Ferndale quake.
Ferndale.
So I'm gonna put that link in there next.
All right. Go ahead.
And then you'll see, because we just did all this stuff on 2021, so you'll see how it's all connecting. Right. So there's a method to my madness that I'm doing.
Here's the Cascadia subduction zone, right? Here's the Mendocino fracture zone, right? Or the Mendocino fault. San Andreas crashes right here. The Petrolia, which we often hear about, Petrolia, right? Here's a Russ fault zone, the Bear River fault zone, Petrolia thrust fault, right? The King Range thrust fault, Whale Gulch, Bear Harbor, Chino Flat, right? And here's a Brush Mountain fault. All of these are all part of what's going on up here. Now, some of this is like ancient North America, or could have been an igneous out there that's above land. It's old, and part of it's new. There's a combination of those. And in the rocks, see if I can pull this up.
Well, to simplify it even more, faults are intersecting cracks. That's what they're finding, right? They're saying that when they go down so far, three are crossing over each other, or all connecting together. That we can't see that on the surface. We think they're like three separate faults, but once you go down far enough, they're all intersecting each other, which is why if one goes off, it can affect the other ones, and you have multiple faults going off at the same time, creating a bigger quake. Now, this is all the new stuff, right? Because now we can see farther down and find out how they all interconnect. So,
oh crap! Hold on. All right,
but it was doing the same thing years ago. It's just now we can understand it way better. That's the only difference with the technology we have.
All right, I'm trying to let's see if this will work. Nope, it won't. Damn it. This one? Nope, that's not the one I want. Damn, it won't do it. God bless America. All right, so I have to refresh this. I got another page here I want to share for you here. Just bear with me.
I'll let you do it.
Yeah. It shows us the topography of the area. Where is it? Imagery hybrid. I want to say this one.
Like, I think the professionals are trying to make everything more complicated than what it should be. Because if you just think of every fault as a crack, like the crack can go straight down or it can angle out different ways. And you could have another crack, which is another fault, intersecting it because that crack may not go down straight. It may be at an angle and run into the other ones.
Okay.
Which I don't know why they should be explaining this in like grade 5 or less.
Right.
Like, it's pretty straightforward. Like if once you don't bring in all these terms that are just trying to confuse everybody.
Right.
Yeah.
So like what we have here is we have the topography, right, in this area, and I can look up what TK is in the rock type, right? Generalized rock types. TK would be. Let me zoom in a little bit.
No, the plates are just on the surface. They only go down so many kilometers.
Yeah, TK is marine sedimentary and metasedimentary rocks. So marine rocks under the sea, under the ocean here, right? EP. P is regular P is marine sedimentary rocks as well. Like KJF. There's PZ right here, marine sedimentary rocks. Yeah, most of it's marine sedimentary stuff.
Yeah, and it's all like rocks that were lifted up.
Lifted up. All this is due to what? The crunching of two plates smashing against each other. The orange and all that stuff, all the dark reds, that's all volcanic. This is where Clear Lake is here, north of San Francisco, right?
Yeah. Flutter's asking about, do you think the plates are floating? Yes, they're all floating, but the subducted ones are going down into the mantle.
Yeah.
So everything's floating on top of the mantle, but some sink when they subduct, and the other ones are floating. Well, they're all floating on top, except the oceanic plates that are subducting down into the mantle. And then they sink and go all the way down to the bottom by what they've found so far. We just don't know what plates are sunk all the way to the bottom, to the core mantle boundary. They can see that they're down there, but they don't know. Like, they don't know what ancient plates they are.
Yeah. The pink here on this, these are plutonic rocks. These are volcanics, right?
Yeah.
Plutons.
Yeah, they think it recycles because when the plume comes up, it cuts through all these subducted plates that are way down there and brings pieces of
and the red is volcanic.
Yeah.
And the list of quakes out here, like 1992, they had a 7.2 right there. And out here, 1923, they had a 7.2. up here. 1980, they had a 7.3.
80 was the same year as Mount St. Helens, and
right.
4.6 at Long Valley.
1922, a 7.3.
Yeah.
2005, a 7.2.
92 was the same year as Landers.
Right. And if you notice as well, if I close this down, you'll notice that most of the earthquakes and all of the large quakes are north of the Mendocino fracture zone or the ridge. Yeah. North. Not a lot happens down here.
Well, the last couple of years, the last two times, 22 and 21, they were on land.
Yeah, on land in here. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I just find it super interesting that here's the Cascadia fault zone right here where it's beginning to subduct. But these quakes out here and all these red marks and all these green marks, very, very few are south. Here's the San Andreas right through here, right? They say 2011 right here, fault, or that one. But sorry, I can't even get it. Anyway, we talked about all these major quakes up and down the San Andreas. We talked about the Alomar quake over here. But yeah, here's Tahoe in Alomar's up right there. Okay, and this doesn't even cover the Alomar quakes because this is an old list. But we can still utilize it by saying, hey, there's a fault right here. What's the name of that fault? Eaton Roughs. Yeah, right. And then here's another one. Russ, who wrote that one, fault source. Slip rate, it tells us the slip rate. San Andreas. Slip rate of 16.55 millimeters a year. All right. So I'm going to let you continue with what you want. What you have it out there
in the wiki link for the Ferndale quake in 2022.
Okay. Ferndale quake. Go ahead. You can read this one.
Okay, I got to bring it up here on my screen. So I'm doing too many things at once. On December 20th, 2022, a magnitude 6.4 earthquake struck Ferndale, California in Humboldt County, United States at 10:34:25 UTC or 2:34 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Much of Northern California lies close to the boundaries between three tectonic plates, the Pacific Plate, the Gorda Plate, and the North American Plate, which meet at the Mendocino Triple Junction. The Mendocino fracture zone marks the transform boundary between the Gorda and Pacific Plates. This tectonic boundary has been the cause of many earthquakes in the region, including the mega thrust 1700 Cascadia earthquake and the 1992 Cape Mendocino earthquakes, the latter of which measured 7.2. Well, they're going to have to do that part about Cascadia over again because now they say it started at the top, not the bottom. But anyway.
I'm not sure, but whatever.
Yeah, the earthquake measured 6.4 on the moment magnitude scale and had a maximum Mercalli intensity of 8 severe. It came exactly a year after a 6.2 magnitude earthquake struck onshore in the Cape Mendocino area on December 20, 2021, causing only minor damage. It was the result of strike-slip faulting along either a southeast or southwest striking plane. The USGS said the earthquake's depth, focal mechanism, and location suggest a likely source within the subducting Gorda Plate. Despite being centered offshore, the fault that triggered the quake traveled onshore and ruptured northeasternwards.
That's crazy, going northeast.
Yeah, so that's
wow. Not from the northwest down to southeast, but rupturing northeast.
Yeah. So here we go. The aftershocks. Following the main shock, over 250 aftershocks above magnitude 1 occurred, distributed along a distance of 26 kilometers, 16 miles. The largest aftershock of the year measured 4.9 magnitude with a maximum intensity of 5, moderate. On January 1st, 2023, a magnitude 5.4 aftershock struck with a maximum intensity of 7. Broken windows, large cracks in buildings, and power outages were reported in Humboldt County due to this aftershock, and some houses were badly damaged after being shaken from their foundations. A magnitude 4.5 earthquake struck 6 miles west-southwest of Ferndale on March 21 and was attributed as an aftershock by the USGS. Now, I'm not going to go into detail on all the other stuff, but so this was 2022. So now what we're going to do, because we already looked up stuff in 2021 and in 2020, now we're going to do 2022 to see where it came from.
All right. Well, do you have a link for it?
I don't have the link, but it's the usual. Because I just found these other ones right quick tonight before we started.
All right, here we go. Yeah. 2022. Let's just zoom back down here. January. Nicaragua 6.1, Peru 5.6, Greece again 5.5. I can't believe how much Greece really plays a role.
Yeah, because if you follow the Mendocino limit the whole way across, it goes right to Greece.
Yeah, 6.8 Fox Islands, 6.6 Fox Islands, Alaska.
It goes right through the Azores, right through Gibraltar.
Yeah.
That's Portugal, right to Greece.
Fox Islands 6.2, Haiti
all the way across, it goes
5.1,
right through Tokyo.
Panama 6, February. Peru 6.5, really. Indian Ridge. Mid-Atlantic. 6.2, Mid-Atlantic.
It's not magic. It's just magnetic.
There you go. It's not magic. It's magnetic. There you go. I like that one. 6.2. Make that shirt. What is it? It's not magic. It's magnetic. I know somebody else has said that too, but hey, who cares? I'll give you it. Argentina 6.0, Colombia 5.5. Going into March. Veracruz, Mexico. That's the Gulf of Mexico side. 5.7. Sandwich Islands 6.0. Peru 4.7. Peru 5.5. Mid-Atlantic Ridge 6.7. We're in trouble, Goose. Haiti 5.1. We got the Mid-Atlantic. We have the Caribbean popping again, just like before. Ecuador 5.8. Peru 4.4. Go to April. Peru 3.9. Nicaragua 6.6. May. Argentina 6.8. Colombia 5.0. Peru 5.4. Mexico, Oaxaca 5.5. Peru 7.2. Peru. 22. Sorry. East Pacific Rise 6.2. Peru 5.5. We're into June now. Alaska, Rhode Island's got a 6.3. Brazil 6.5. That's on the western side of the Atlantic, okay? Brazil. But it's, where was it? Accra? Okay, yeah, it's right in the dead center of South America. Dead center of South America. Georgia, 3.9. Okay, remember, we have the Caribbean popping, right? We got Alaska popping. Center part of the United States, Georgia. Basically not on the, where California, where all the earthquakes are, right? But in the middle of United States, right?
And remember, Iceland started all its eruption things 2021.
Yeah.
21, 22,
Jalisco, Mexico, a little 2-4. I don't know why that's there, but hey, they got it on here. We're going in July.
Well, I think they have Jalisco because they're saying it's a foreshock to the big one.
Okay. Chihuahua, Mexico, 4.6. Chile, 6.8. Chile, 6.6. Peru, 5.5. Ecuador, 5.7. Chile, 6.4. Salvador, 4.2. Wow, look at all these things going off, eh?
Yeah.
Ecuador, 5.7. Ecuador, 4.4. Chile, 6.2. Chile, 6.1. Iceland, southern, 5.4. The volcanic eruption of Fagradal starts. And that's July of 22. There's a strange Vietnam one. I remember that. Pacific Antarctic region, 6.3, down in the south. And we're moving into September. The Mid-Atlantic Ridge, 6.9. Remember, the Caribbean's already going. The East Pacific rise got hit again, and it's going again. Chile's going really good. Central America's going good. This is what's happening all at the same time. Michoacan, Mexico, 7.6.
Yeah.
Crazy, right?
Yeah.
Michoacan, 6.8. Chile, 6.1. October, Rick James Ridge pops with a 6. Peru, 5.8. Central Mid-Atlantic, 6.2. Hawaii, 5.0. And Mauna Loa volcano collapses and rock falls occur. Power outages affect 500 homes. Costa Rica, hey, 6.3. Panama, 6.7. Sandwich Island, 6.3. And we're into November. Sandwich Island, 6.1. Northern Pacific Ocean, strange quake.
Yeah, that was the one that was way out there.
It's off of Southern California and northern Mexico, out in the middle of nowhere. Very, very strange location. Baja California came in right after that, 6.1. And that's where the volcanoes are on the western half. The big giant bay up there in Baja. Guatemala pops with a 5.8. Chile, 6.2. Mexico, Baja, 6.2.
We're in 2022.
Right. Greece popping with a couple of 4s. And then we get in December.
Is the one.
And Guerrero pops with a 6. Alaska, Rat Island, 6.3.
Yeah, because the Ferndale quake was December.
Ferndale, 6.4.
So that's where Ferndale came from. We just did the whole year.
Right. So we led up to December. You saw what was happening. You saw the Pacific in the south. You saw the Pacific in the north. You saw the Caribbean popping. You saw Chile popping. You saw Ecuador popping. You saw Panama popping, right? You saw Iceland popping. And then Ferndale moved. Why? Because it's a weak part of the plate. It's the conjunction, triple junction right there of being slammed up against the subduction zone, which is guiding down. And there's a crack in the plate all the way into the Mojo with the San Andreas right there. And it's all smashing up where? Against the Mendocino. And that's where Ferndale is. Rio Del. You heard of all these quakes. And they repeat themselves. Now we go to last year, 23. And California pops 5.4 again. Right? Same area. Bang, bang. Greece is still doing its thing. El Salvador 5.2. Argentina 6.8. Argentina 6.4. Costa Rica 4.5. You see how it's getting a little bit lesser. The energy's already gone. Peru 3.4. March. Colombia 5.4. Ecuador 6.8. Big. I remember that sucker. That happened right after the Galapagos Islands shut off. The volcano shut off. I don't know if it's Coyote Mountain or Wolf Mountain. It shut off like a month before this, and it stopped spewing out magma, and then bang, this hit. So we had the Pacific Ocean going crazy. We had the Chile knocking off stuff. We had the Caribbean plate. We had the Mendocino fracture zone popping. A lot of energy. Chile, another 6.3. April, got to go all the way to December on this. 6.3 Panama. Canada, British Columbia had a 6. Port McNeil. Now we're into what, May? Guatemala had a 6.4. I think we're going to get into Mexico one here shortly. Here's Greece again. Jeez. Colombia 6.5. Big quake, Colombia. West Chile rise is 6.0. The Auckland Islands 6.3. June 5.4 Peru. Haiti comes in the 4.9. Greece again 4.8. My God, with Greece, I don't know how it always plays into it. Oh my gosh. Ecuador 5.1. Mexico, Baja California 6.4. South of La Riviera in Rio Gagito. That's another one that was out to sea.
Yeah.
So it's very weird. We had two within 2 years or within a year of each other that were offshore in a strange place.
Yeah.
In a 5.0 Ecuador. And in July, Chiapas, Mexico had a 6.3. Ecuador had a 4.5. Alaska had a 7.2 in Sandpoint. Peru, 4.8. Argentina, 6.6. El Salvador, 6.5. So Central America is banging hard. Chile back to a 4.3. Colombia popping with a 4.3. August. Argentina, 6.2. Greece, again, 5.1. You freaking Greece, man.
Well, it's connecting to Mendocino. That's what it's saying.
Yep. Colombia 6.1. Colombia 5.6. Argentina 6.2. Now we're into September. Chile 6.3. Argentina 4.2. West Chile rise 6.1. Peru 4.3. October. Mexico, Oaxaca 5.9. Argentina 6.0. Honduras 4.6. Alaska ADAC 6.4. Jamaica 5.4. I don't know where this place, Cape Verde Brava. I don't know where that is.
Cape Verde. It must be the Cape Verde Islands, I think.
4.8. Chile 6.6. November. Greece 5.1.
Because Cape Verde Islands is where all the hurricanes come off Africa.
Yeah. Ecuador 5.0. Texas 5.2. I believe it was much stronger, 5.7, but they lowered it to a 5.2 in Mendocino there. They don't want it to be as big. And the DR popped in with a 5.0. shortly right after. And
yeah, Slaughter saying you remember thought crime. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And in December last year, Philippines went apeshit. Puebla, Mexico, 5-7. That's close to um, uh, uh, Mexico City. Peru popped with a 6-2. Alaska ADAC had a 6-1. South of Africa again 6-1. And then that's it. So you saw what was going on.
Yeah, and I put another link in there from the Tembler guy explaining what's going on there, and he has a little video too, so you can even play that.
All right. Is it? Yeah, it's Commons, right?
Yeah.
All right. Creative Commons, so it's all good. Look how it goes up into a northeast.
Yeah. Oh, rocket alerts.
Yeah. Um, yeah. Greater than 6-4 since 1964. You can see all of Southern Cal. You can see Central Cal, and then all of these rockets. Are you looking those rockets up?
No, they're too far away now. I'll have to look at it after.
All right.
Because it's over on the charger, so I'm not going to go get it right now.
Okay, good. I can hear it. That's the interesting thing here. He just said that this is all subsurface faulting after the 6-4, right? Because all these other surface faults are in a different orientation.
Yeah.
Pretty interesting.
Because he has like a whole boatload of maps and stuff in this thing. And he's referring to all the historical ones too. Because he's showing all the big ones from 92 and 2010 and where they all are in relation to the other, so that the 2022 one is kind of filling in a spot between all the other ones. So it's pretty wild stuff he's got on there.
Yeah, we got a lot of warnings of the rockets.
Well, I've been too busy today.
I haven't heard anything in quite some time.
Yeah.
I'm looking to see.
So that's like a crazy amount of information he has on that freaking page, because he's like,
right. And he's the guy up there in PNSN, right? I've seen him before.
Yeah, well, Tembler. Yeah, Tembler is his own thing.
Right.
So he analyzes all the different.
God bless America.
But he does like studies too, and does studies on all the quakes too, because you'll see his name on quake studies. So it's just wild. He puts a whole boatload of information there, and he has all the Coulomb stress things and all of it all in there, and how it like came like from offshore in, and like in the middle that he shows later on down there. So it's crazy stuff. Because I think it's just another liniment, right? So he's really identifying
right
your fault, but like probably if you run, I don't know what angle that's at.
Well,
but if you extended it out, I bet it would run.
If you looked at the GPS, the observed and the modeled, right? GPS would give you some sort of movement, but also maybe some magnetic sense to it as well. What is it? It's called what's the name of that app you got that's making them rockets?
I'm using the Shofar one.
Shofar?
Yeah. TZOFAR.
Spell it.
TZOFAR. Because I had the red alert one before, but then they changed that it talked, and it was like this kid screaming, and I didn't like that, so I switched to the
TZEDO FAR.
No, TZOFAR. So Shofar is how they say it.
Yeah.
So that's the official one from the Israel government. And it also does earthquakes too.
Yeah, it's a confrontational line that's up there. That's what's going on right now. I just wanted to let everybody know.
Close to the border.
Yeah, it's close to the border.
So it's not Tel Aviv yet.
No.
It's Tel Aviv or Jerusalem or something. It's probably Iran.
Right. And they are shooting some rockets. Arab Al-Amazri, Garnata. Yeah, it's up on the shore, almost on the shore. Here, I'll show you everybody, just so that when you hear it.
Haifa.
It's north of Haifa. Yeah, these where the rockets are going right now, and this is the ongoing battle that Israel has with Hezbollah. And they've been kicking the crap out of them up in here. But, I think Israel may just take all the way from Beirut south. Said, screw it, guys. It's all theirs anyway. All the way to the Tigris River and Euphrates belong to them.
So when the Palestinians chant river to the sea, they're talking about the Jordan River to the Mediterranean. But according to what it says in the Bible, the Jews' promised land actually is from the Euphrates River.
Yeah. Well, David's it's they said Israel will own all the way of David's
well, people don't realize, but that includes also Saudi Arabia and all that too, because how the Euphrates comes down, right? Because it comes out down by Kuwait. So basically the whole Arabian plate belongs to Israel, according to what it says in the Bible. So that also includes Saudi Arabia and Yemen and Oman and
there you go.
UAE and
share this tab instead. There you go.
Sinai Peninsula, which
all that belongs to Israel.
So at some point they're going to have that all back again.
Yep.
So this is just step one, according to the biblical stuff.
Yeah. And if you look up the extent of the Davidic kingdom, it's pretty extensive.
Yeah. So it's crazy stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So when the Palestinians are chanting river to the sea, they don't realize that they're talking about the wrong river. Because they say they want.
Well, they're
Palestine to them, is
Palestinians were placed there by the
Med.
I think
But
by the Phoenicians, they were placed there by the Phoenicians to, or the Romans to, um, uh, inbreed with the local Jews to, um, supplant the Jewish um, uh, heritage to the land, because um, the Romans wanted to disband them permanently without them able to come back. So that's why they changed the names of towns to Philistia. It never was that. That's uh, um, a Roman.
if you actually study the genealogy of the Gazans, which call themselves Palestinians now, they're not actually that. They're a mix of Jews, all the people that were there before, and any foreign invaders like the Turks or whatever,
right.
and a certain percentage of the genealogy.
There, a lot of them were Caucasus too.
Actually Jewish. So actually, the Gazans or the Palestinians or whatever you want to call them this week actually have more in common.
They do
with the Jews,
and you can thank the Romans for all that. Yeah,
with the other Islamic people, which is crazy. And the guy that did the study, he's at one of the universities there. I forget which one it is. It's all wrecked now, anyway. But he got in trouble because the Hamas and all them didn't like it that he found out in the genealogy that they were all who they were all related to. There's no such thing as the Palestinian thing. It's just all made up.
It's all made up by the Romans.
Yeah.
Back when they finally did the final rebellion against the Roman. Yeah.
I can't remember which.
Most people don't know these things, and they haven't studied this the depth of that.
I think it's one of the universities at Con Yunis.
Well, which there's also
Hamas left now. Same area.
Yeah, try to. Wow, this is only. Oh man, I'm trying to find the one link I can get you the information you need. All the way back to November 15 is when. Just remember to pray for Nick and his family. Please remember to do that. I'll bring it up all the time because Nick Zentner is he's an extended family member here at JSL, and we love him, and it's just they're having a war right now. You can see the share this tab right here. You can see where the missiles are coming in. And it just means they got exposed again, and Israel's going to hit. Oh, you want to shoot off? Okay.
Yeah, because it's like 6:30 a.m. over there. So
yeah.
So now that's when they don't seem to shoot any stuff at nighttime now. Hezbollah, it's always like early in the morning or when it first gets daylight, because I don't think they can see anymore in the dark.
No.
After in the daytime now.
Yeah, well, they're
well, they get all bombed to pieces all night, and then in the morning that's when they come out and shoot stuff.
Yeah. Well, Israel
all the Israeli planes fly back to.
They're always up there. They can see the planes, they can see the drones, so that's why they say, okay, during the day we'll see. If there's no drones, okay, duh.
Because I've noticed lately that's usually when it happens. It's like early there. And then after that, they all go back into their holes and find out later.
Well, it is really, really sad, but I think, the loss of life on all sides. For what? For what purpose? Only because of hate. Really. Israel didn't start this war, but they're finishing it. And everybody ought to take note of that. Everybody. Unfortunately.
Going.
The innocents. Are there any innocents anymore? Probably. You know. I'm looking for. Oh, I'm almost there. Looking for the link for you. I liked this guy's study, and he'll give you a real clear history. And he's a researcher, and I played it before on JSL and helped you see what's been the real, the realness of it all, and unbiased. He's not a Christian, or maybe he became. I don't know, but he's a researcher, and he's from he's an Israeli, and he works for the news agencies over there, and he didn't pull any punches. I'll tell you this. Like I said, once it comes up here, I'm going all the way back into October here. Looking through my history, that is, everybody. And I do watch a lot of stuff. Holy smokes.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's just like information all the time.
Yeah. It's, way back before the election, and I don't know what the date am I on right now. Shoot, way back. Interesting. Yeah. I don't know. Yep.
And I just found out the other day that the bestie's sister, her hubby that she married, is related to The Rock.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, because The Rock has a whole Canadian connection side from Nova Scotia, from his father.
Well, he's Samoan and something else. He's a mix.
Yeah, because his dad was in Canada for a while, Rocky Johnson.
So what's the latest in Iceland? Close up that. Why I looked this up.
Well, tonight it's still slowing down like what it was from yesterday, but and it's gone a little bit past where the parking lot is, but not too far.
Yeah, and it's runnier, right?
Well, it was at the start, but it's slowing down.
Is it thickening up or just slowing?
Just slowing down, because now it's just down. There was 3 places where it was coming out before, and now it's just mainly in the middle. And then there's 2 smaller spatter cones that were still active, but there wasn't too much lava coming out of them. It's the center one where the most is coming out, and it's still running down towards the Blue Lagoon from that center one. It's still going.
All right. So,
and then Just Icelandic said that he heard from people there that they were planning to have the Blue Lagoon open by November 29th, and that they were going to put the parking lot, make it gravel, and put it on top of the lava, like how they've been doing with the roads. Because it destroyed the parking lot. And he said what they told him was, because it was heated, it will stay melted because it's so hot from the lava. If they put gravel over the top of it, he said the snow will melt off it all winter. That's what somebody told him, and he had that in his update tonight. I don't know whether he was joking or serious. I couldn't tell.
Well, so they can keep having people come down and see it, right?
Yeah, so they can still drive in there, because right now, see, there's no place to park, because that was the main
right. It buried the parking lot. That's not a big deal.
So he said they told him, the people that construct the roads or whatever, they said they're going to put gravel over the lava and put the parking lot in approximately the same place. And like what they did with the roads, right? Because they put the gravel over the top of it and then just drive over the top of the lava. So now they're going to do the same thing with the parking lot. By what he said, I don't know how they're going to get it all done by like in a week, but who knows what they're doing. So
Simcha Jacob Ovisi is the historical analysis of Palestine by 3-time Emmy-winning filmmaker Simcha Jacob Ovisi, and it's that's the his name, and I won't play it on here because it's a historical thing. So, but I'll go ahead and stream. Hey, if you like this video, we're now 2 hours into it. If you like this video, go ahead and follow us over there on Rumble. Sign up for Rumble and look under Joe Slick Live. You can find us there. The rabbit hole, right? And let me see if I can find that link for you so you can see the Rumble. We have a lot, and I'll share that with you. Let me share that.
See the Rumble coming before you hear it. Yeah.
You can hear the Rumble. Yeah. We have a lot in our series that we've been doing for what I think is our second year doing the rabbit hole. We've been doing it pretty consistently since September 1st on this genre. And we probably have, 20, 25 videos in this series just of California. So it started September 1st and it will continue until this, I guess we're finished with California faults. We'll talk about a little bit more of the faults when we do volcanoes beginning, what is it, Wednesday? Yeah, Wednesday, which is right before Thanksgiving. So if you want to join us, you can. Rumble.com and the rabbit hole. It's let me see, the rabbit hole dilemma. Let me see if you can see it. There you go. You can see that.
Yeah, because we'll start right at the bottom with the volcanoes. So
right.
Sierra
Prado will go all the way north. Yep. And then hopefully by the time we finish Oregon and we're in Washington, Professor Nick comes back. So as you can see, we're doing this one right now. There's 2 people live on there. Well, I'm one of them. I think. I don't know. But yeah, we have a bunch of stuff out here for you. And go ahead and sign up for the Rabbit Hole Dilemma is the name of it. And you can see Rabbit Hole right there. And appreciate you. We're also on YouTube. So let me pop over to YouTube and I'll share with you over here in YouTube Studio and content here. Under live, you'll see a bunch of the rabbit holes right here. So just look in there. In my channel. There's Joe Slick Live. You see the rabbit holes. Look under live right up there in the middle. Share this tab instead. So you got home, you go to live, and you'll see we're doing this one live right now, and all these other ones you can see they're here too. So please subscribe and tell your friends about us. And we're also on Twitch, so I can show you Twitch. Joe Slick Live. We're over here on Twitch as it's going to go bloop, 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 bloop. So we're over here on Twitch. So enjoy, everybody. Have a good evening. Love you. Thanks for being here. And can I just stay on there for a minute?
Yeah.